which there's no way you can use more than 2 question marks without sounding like you're like, ah! As soon as you put 3 question marks, you're like, oh my God, like someone's got a fucking gun to your head and is like, ask them about Tarkov, and you're fucking panicking. There's no way.
So true, dude.
Without
you know what's
and fucking temper tantrum in a puddle of your own piss on the ground.
Bro.
That's 4 question marks.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the podcast, a show dedicated to talking about all the progress things in life, like music, content creation, and video games. I'm one of your co-hosts, JesseKazam.
And I'm Veritas. And I have Fence Guy.
Fence Guy!
Fucking Fence Guy. Okay, so for those
How
of you
did
guys
you
who,
find him?
my wife found him. She was camping. Okay, she was camping
At the end of the world?
We've been watching, because, I mean, when did Cops start? 1989.
Oh
So
my God.
33 years ago is when Cops started, and I'll explain who Fence Guy is before, but we've watched every single season of Cops like 4 times through.
That's insane.
Because it's just like one of those things, like there's no story. So like you just fall asleep.
100%. Perfect show.
In anywhere. So usually we just have it on repeat and we just pass the fuck out at night.
Perfect.
Cops.
Yeah.
End up having some weird dreams, let me tell you. But yeah, so we came across at one point, there was this guy who, I mean, there's always fucking either high-speed chases or foot pursuits. So there's this one guy that gets in a foot pursuit, and let's just say there's 2 fences involved in one foot pursuit that was fucking hilarious for us to watch. And then 2 episodes later, there's a guy who in one foot pursuit gets fucked up by 2 fences, and then we're like, what are the chances that's the same guy? And it's the same guy. So this guy is in 2 episodes of Cops
struggling with fences.
2 episodes, 4 fences. And then so I get a text message, because we've been looking for years trying to find, like, where the fuck is Fence Guy? Like, that's the mission we've been on. And Meg texts me and she's like, I found Fence Guy. She fucking came home and we like pulled it up, and it was amazing. And then we had his name, so then I could like Google, because they actually have the cops on like IMDb. Like,
what?
They like list all the cops on that and other websites. So I was like, is this Fence Guy? So then we looked and we saw he was in the episode 2 episodes later.
Wow. That sounds like the whole concept of that show, If I'm a Cop, sounds like my worst nightmare. Filming me when like basically exclusively when I have to make split-second decisions with no context. Like, you know what I mean? I just have to like figure out how to accomplish this task. Nope.
Dude, did I talk about the podcast about Cops? I think
about the show Cops.
Yeah, because it both like made it even more interesting from a different perspective, and also kind of ruined it. But they basically said how so much of it, like none of it's staged.
Yeah,
all of the like criminals are real criminals and whatever, but they do some fucked up shit. Because like a lot of the people just want to, like the cops want to be on Cops.
Oh.
They feel obliged when they have a cameraman following them around for a week to like make certain things happen. So have you ever seen when they do test like the meth or the crack, and they like put it in the little containers, break it, and then shake it up?
Oh yeah.
Or blue. First of all, those tests are like well known to be wicked unreliable.
Jeez.
And also, they don't show you so much of it. Like, one of the things they talk about on this podcast is how I think the cameraman came out. So the cameraman, as well as I think some of the criminals, they like don't sign waivers. Like, they don't even. A lot of times, what they do is they'll like talk to them about releases. Like, we'll sign a release. And a lot of times they think, because a lot of the times the people aren't the most educated, they think that they're signing a form so they'll get released, not to release their camera. So most of the people don't even consent to having them on there, but they end up on there anyway. And then
Yikes.
there's one thing that they talk about where the cop like tests the same sample of like some drug like 4 times and it comes back negative, and on the 5th time it like barely comes positive, but it's again, it's unreliable. So then they like take this guy into jail, embarrass him, fucking ruin all this stuff, and then 2 weeks later when they actually take the drugs and they send it to the lab to have real tests done, it came back negative. So like a lot of times they'll just kind of stage it a little bit, and
Dude,
yeah,
it makes sense, man. Showbiz people, yeah, exactly. It's like when there's a camera on you, you feel like you got to make something happen. Dude, rip. That does kind of ruin it a little bit, but fence guy.
But now I'm like looking out for what I think is fake.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But yeah, fence guy.
I mean, it's surprising that it's been going on that long, and that at least a large majority of it isn't staged. Like, that's pretty. These days, I've heard a lot of stories about like reality TV literally being like scripted, like people getting handed scripts, and so it's crazy that it's still just dudes following cops around.
Dude, live PD. Oh, it's then that podcast. I forget what it's called. If you Google like podcast about the show Cops, I'm sure you'll find it. But they also talk about live PD and how live PD is very often, most of the time, not live at all. For like obvious reasons. If someone gets shot or like
100%. Yeah.
It's like nudity or whatever, which there is a lot of on Cops. Just people's pants are always getting fucking pulled down. And it's a nightmare, but yeah. Anyway, that's fence guy.
That's fence guy. What you been up to this week? You just been playing Trackmania, any Tarkov? I know you released a new vid.
Yeah, no Tarkov. I did release a Trackmania video, another documentary. It's about an hour long. It's going to be a 2-parter. I got 2 hours.
Damn.
I didn't want to make a 2-hour video, so yeah. And Trackmania community loves it. A bunch of people who are here from the Tarkov fam watched it, and I think these Trackmania videos are honestly the best content I've made, just because
so sick.
The replay system, you just get the most cinematic
100%.
shit, dude.
It's insane.
It's fucking crazy. And the fact that like a lot the replays all use like the inputs, and it's all deterministic and everything, so you can slow it down to 0.001, and it's not like if you do that in Adobe Premiere, it just repeats the same frame.
Yeah.
But the tools are amazing. If you look at my thumbnail too for the video, they have a screenshot renderer, which I just discovered yesterday.
What?
So what you do is you can put it in like this sick angle, and you press a button, and it literally will run it through depending on the parameters of like what you put in before you do it. It will go through like multiple frames, and it will do motion blur. So it will actually turn the tires and do the motion blur, and like
that's insane.
Yeah, it's fucking unreal. So I really wish that more games had that.
That is so sick. Holy cow.
But yeah, what's your Tarky been like? I actually did go hang out with Ghost Freak and have some interesting stuff to talk about there.
Yeah. So we'll definitely get there and kind of at the beginning. But yeah, I mean, Tarkov's been good. It's been like, once again, like kind of same thing we said last week. There's some like weird things with the Desync that's going on that, of course, like, it's like like there has to be a certain level, and I would say this was probably any game community, but it's like there has to be a certain level of salt. And if that salt is all directed towards one thing, so be it. Or if there's like a bunch of things, then the salt level is lower, but it's still, but like right now the thing is like the Desync, right? Because we've all complained, I'm on my AI kick again, like so just malding hard, but it's not necessarily any worse this wipe than last wipe, right? Like that's just kind of the same. The audio is pretty much the same. Everything is kind of the same. So it's like everybody's super hyper focused on this Desync, which we'll talk about. But I mean, overall, most of the raids have been pretty good. It's been fun. It's been like my best and quickest progression through the quests and through like getting through stuff. So like in a lot of ways, it's been good. But it's one of those things where like, you know, a content light patch always means that like the same old problems just annoy you more. Like I remember last wipe, I was just so excited to be VoIPing everyone all the time that like when I died to Desync, like it just didn't bother me that much for the first few months. Like we all know that the content that they're putting out, guns, maps, and stuff like that, it never lasts long. You know what I mean? Like last wipe, we got Lighthouse, but at the end of last wipe, I had already felt like we had Lighthouse for forever. Like it was just, you know what I mean? So like, it doesn't last long. But at least those first few months of the wipe, you know, we had VoIP, we had a new map, we had all this new stuff, and it just like, so this was a very, you know, content light, but I find myself just banging my head against the wall over the stuff, the sound, over the AI or whatever, because there's nothing like crazy, insane happening. But the desync has been interesting. Have you seen any of the stuff going around with like shotguns and stuff?
So I've seen not that specifically. Okay, well it's complicated because I've seen a bunch of people molding on Twitter, and also I hung out, like I said, I hung out in Ghost Freak's stream yesterday for like an hour and a half. He spent the whole time in offline mode, just testing stuff. And what I will say is that I have seen clips that are clearly desync, like combat, like was it Tiggs the clip from last week?
Yeah.
So like that's desync. But I would say like 80% of the things that I saw had nothing to do with desync, and they weren't it wasn't networking. It was just client issues that was my hunch.
Yeah.
And then hanging out in Ghost Freak stream, I mean, first of all, he was playing offline mode. So
there is no server.
There's no synchronization. Now, before people get butthurt, your client is the server. But again, there's no desynchronization. You know, it's not like the scav's behavior goes to the server and then comes back. And we had him run through like a million fucking tests where it was like aim right to the left of a scav, but don't hit them. Aim at the scav, throw a grenade, turn your back when you throw a grenade. But for Ghost and a lot of other people, when you either throw a grenade or shoot a scav, at least, and probably players, he freezes for like 3/4 of a second.
Yeah.
Every single shot. It's unbelievably bad.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know, again, if people are just don't know what the fuck they're talking about or are using that to talk
I think,
about.
I think that's the thing is that, like, to somebody like me, even after all the conversations we've had, I would call that desync, right? Like, I just don't know, like, what's happening. So I think, like, and I think, you know, most people don't really care what you call it. It's just, like, what is this problem and why is it happening? So, like, what do you think, at least in your as a hunch, is happening when you see something you're like, I don't think that's necessarily desync from the server, but like, what is happening? Why is that? Is it just like the client getting locked up and the server going on smooth sailing? Is it like, I wouldn't even begin to know what the difference between what's happening in desync is.
Well, so first of all,
because being offline is very weird.
Being offline is pretty damn conclusive.
Yeah.
But also, again, it depends. If you are sniping from 400 meters away, and you click, and as soon as you click, your game freezes. Like, and when I say as soon as, I mean if you were to record it, put it in software, you're talking about a frame or 2 frames or whatever.
Yeah.
If it was lag or desync, just think about your packet has to go all the way to the server and come. I mean, you're talking even 50, 100 milliseconds is still like a long fucking time.
Yeah.
And that's before they would even get hit and, you know, whatever. But again, so when you go on offline mode and you shoot or you do a grenade and every time it explodes, you lag. One of the other things that's I'm trying to remember. So what we ended up at least what my
Yeah.
my kind of tentative conclusion, and I was there for like an hour and a half and ended up being like, I don't want to, I don't even know why the fuck I'm, I was like,
Yeah.
send your logs to me, send. I'm like, no, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I don't want to be doing this. I don't want to try and come to the fucking rescue and pass information to Nikita and have it just be,
Yeah.
it's not worth my time right now. But my tentative conclusion is that it's the hit registration that happens on the client.
Okay.
Because so think about it. When you pull the trigger, first of all, your client has to figure out, is this bullet going to hit?
Yeah.
And then when it does hit, it needs to actually do the animation for the person getting hit and the blood splattering. But that's, as we know with the desync, that's completely independent of whether or not you actually hit him.
Yes.
Because those packets have to get to the server, and if by the time they get back to you, they were like, you're dead. You're going to shoot him, see a bunch of blood, and then you're going to be dead.
Yeah.
Because his packets got to the server earlier than yours did. So my guess is that it has something to do with either the hit registration.
Yeah.
It could be potentially anti-cheat related. I don't know if they do if like Battle State is doing something, checking every shot, if it's like a fucking aimbot or, I don't know. It's conceivable that there's something like that. It could be animation related, because there's the new animations and then like interpolation, and maybe there's some of that. But I honestly think it has to do with hit registration, because because that would, if you shoot, it's complicated. Yeah,
it is.
So
well, and
that's my tentative conclusion for reasons that
sense.
I won't be able to understand or
won't be able to explain in a way that I or anybody can understand it. And that's fine. That makes total sense. But I think that's the struggle, is that like we got probably 100,000 people playing the game at least once a week. We got a lot of people seeing a lot of things, and you as a software engineer for your almost entire adult life have a hard time explaining what you're seeing. You see it and you understand it, and you can talk to another software engineer about it, but you trying to talk to me, somebody is at least relatively intelligent, it's hard to explain. And so if it's hard for you to explain, it's even harder for somebody like me or that to be able to interpret what we're seeing. So I think everybody, it just falls under this desync thing, even though that might not be the technically correct term. And the biggest thing
I'm already triggered looking at chat, because this is the shit that triggers me. Oh God, sorry. Continue.
Yeah, just turn it off.
I'll save some other stuff later.
Turn it off, chat. No, I'm just kidding. And the huge thing is that it's wildly inconsistent, like of who's experiencing the issues and when, and that leads to a lot of bro science around, like, what I mean. I've heard that
Landmark is high level, so it must have
exactly.
To do with high level.
I've heard it has to do with high level. I've heard it has to do with high level skills. I've heard it has to do with the fact that they increased the ping limit. I've heard it has to do with shotguns. I've heard it has to do with high fire rate weapons. But the thing is that it's so inconsistent that nobody that I've seen has been able to put out or really do any crazy testing. Because, like, for instance, remember last week we talked about desync, and my opinion of it was like, I've seen some crazy clips that are really bad, but I have not experienced that one time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that was where I was at. I was like, I haven't experienced any of this desync, but it's been really bad.
So here's part of the issue, because there's like 17. One of the things you were saying was that people are using desync as like this all-encompassing thing.
Yeah.
So you have,
I'm not saying that's good. I'm just saying.
No, I know. What you have is 20 people talking about and explaining and talking about the causes of one thing.
Yeah.
And 20 other people, and they're all calling it the same thing,
yes.
But they could be and are likely two completely separate things. Nobody realizes they're having different conversations.
Yeah, which is why bug reports are better than molding on Twitter. Because when we submit logs and clips, the devs, who are infinitely, smarter than plebs like me, can see and interpret the difference between these things. But when we just mold on Twitter that the desync is bad, like, what? Yeah, well, what does that mean? From an actual practical perspective.
So when we see the desync in combat, to me, that's just desync. It's the servers being the servers, and that's nothing new. Watch my fucking netcode video.
Yeah.
Literally, there's nothing new there. I was more intrigued by Ghost Freak's issue. Now, again, everybody's saying this is the same issue that X person or Landmark or Y person have been experiencing. I haven't seen those particular clips, so for all I know, they have some Steam audio bug and they're calling it something else. Like, I have no idea. But now, oh God, I have to clarify. I don't think that this has anything to do with Steam audio.
You done messed up, Veritas.
Someone looks at any bug.
Yeah.
Oh, the game crashed for somebody. Oh, it must be the same thing the Landmark has.
Yeah,
and then, you know, everybody wants to fucking talk about that. So let me just scroll up because people in chat were saying the things that I want to talk about. Someone said hit reg and damage calculation was what they thought it was with Ghost's situation. Hit reg could definitely be. Now, damage calculation, he did do tests online, and it was basically the same results online as offline. But your client doesn't do damage calculations. At least I fucking hope not. There's no point. There's no point, right? Because you can hit them 100 times. They're not going to die until it gets a confirmation from the server.
Yeah.
Which is what happens when you see someone running in place and you're just unloading. If the client did hit damage calculations locally, then what you'd end up with, either it's useless math and useless processing power, and you know, shit, maybe that's the problem. They're doing a whole bunch of shit on the clients they don't need to or shouldn't do,
and then are having to do it again on the server.
But what you'd end up with is people dying and then all of a sudden coming back to life, right? Because the client would say, they're dead, and then the server would come back and be like, no, actually, you're dead. So that's one thing. Someone said, would the ping to the servers have something to do with it also? No, because it happens in offline mode and it's identical to online mode, so it's indicative of ping not being an issue.
A factor,
Someone said it might be audio related. Well, then that would be the case if when you shot and missed a scav, it didn't lag. But did I say would not? I don't know. Either way, Ghost was shooting, not hitting people, and it wasn't freezing. He'd threw a grenade, it would explode, and it wouldn't freeze. As soon as he'd hit a scab, it would lock up.
So if it was audio related, then if it was audio related, that would be different. Okay, I understand what you're saying.
Unless for some reason it's scav or enemy audio related, which again, like, it's not impossible. It's just
less likely. Yeah.
And then a bunch of people are saying that they think it's account or skill or level related. Now, all I've heard about is Ghost Freak and a bunch of other streamers that are all level fucking 100 by now, and they're malding about it. If I would love to talk to the community, because it seems totally conceivable to me that someone's level 12 on their first swipe experiencing this issue.
100%.
They just don't have 10,000 viewers, so that no one hears them when they're fucking screaming. You know?
And here's where that came from. And once again, I'm not speaking for Landmark because I don't know what Landmark thinks about this. I don't know what Landmark says about this, but what has happened is it's assimilated through the community. Is Landmark was really frustrated because it was happening. I told you last week I was watching him and I was watching this happen. He was on Factory. He swapped over to his alt account. He just logged into his alt account, fired it up, and played like a bunch of raids online, and none of it happened once. And that was enough evidence that for a lot of people, that meant it was cut and dry account bound. You have it on some accounts and you don't have it on some accounts. And that's obviously not enough evidence, but it was just, he was interested to see if he was just like, what the hell, let me try on my alt account. And he couldn't replicate the issue. That is far from definitive, but that was an experiment he ran. Those were the results of that experiment. And then some people just took that and were like, yo, it's account bound, which I can prove that it's not on the other end, because like what I was about to say earlier was like last week, I was like, dude, I've been seeing these crazy issues, man. I haven't experienced it once. 2 days ago, I was playing with Desmond. I got to set up in Silent Caliber where you have to, kill all the people with shotgun. So I was like, let's use some shotguns. I'm telling you, Veritas, I didn't get that lag or craziness one time. I grabbed the shotgun, I went into a raid, I shot a scav, and he lagged out and then fell over dead. And I was like, yo, this is crazy. I shot another scav, he lagged out, fell over dead. And I literally have a clip. I was like, yo, it's almost like as every time I shoot, if I connect with a scav, it like causes the scav to lag, right? I was just like, that's what it feels like. And then I round a corner and there's a scav sprinting. I shoot him. As soon as I click the button, he completely stops. He's sprinting and then he zorps around, catches up. I shoot him again. He stops running again and falls over dead. And then like
that to me sounds like a completely different issue than Ghost Freak.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I haven't seen Ghost Freak at all go live. This is the exact issue that like Landmark was yes, and Velian has been experiencing it, and some of the other guys. And so this is what's interesting. So and then we shot at a PMC. I really quickly went around a corner, boom, point fired a PMC, ran back around the corner. I heard the PMC go, ugh. I ran back around the corner and fell over dead. And what was interesting was that right as I fell over dead, he was using the new semi-auto SAG 545 AK. So it's just like the semi-auto AK. Right when I died, I heard like all of his shots came through at once. And then what's weird on top of that is that Velian said the same thing. He said, I thought that guy was cheating. I thought he was like macroing or something because all 10 of his shots registered for me at the same time. And then it went to a normal cadence. So that happened to both of us at the same time where like...
I guarantee your player RTT would have spiked up through the fucking roof.
Yeah. So then what's weird is then for the rest of the night, I was doing those quests and I was using AP20 and it didn't happen a single time since then. So at the time, the theory was like, it's like if a bunch of individual damage points are happening at the same time, obviously. So like that was my bro science. I was like, it's only happening when I use a buckshot round and a bunch of pellets hit. But when I use AP20, it literally, I mean, I completed those quests the rest of that night. It didn't happen one other time when I switched over to AP20. It was super weird. So that at least showed, because it was such a similar issue to what Landmark was going to, it's not account bound, right? Like I haven't had any of that desync since I did the shotgun quests, but every single time I shot somebody with a buckshot round, it freaked out. And I've got clips that I can show you. And then, so that's what I'm saying. I was like, that's what I'm saying, how weird it is. Like I am the last person right now that's going around to the community and telling people what I think it is. I have no idea. And like you said, it's probably 12 different issues that everybody's just calling desync. But that was my experience, was that I'd seen the clips. I hadn't experienced it. I shot some buckshot at people. Every single shot was lagging. I switched over to slugs. Never happened again. And then boom, I was like, dude, that's super weird.
Yeah. So let me go ahead and I'm gonna pull this up on stream so everybody can see.
Okay. Yeah, I just watched the clip. Yeah. Holy Jesus.
See, that's not lag or desync.
No. And that, you know what's weird is I've had
computer shits the bed.
I haven't seen that from anybody else this way. Yeah, I don't know. That's different than the issues that I've seen. It's different. Like I haven't seen anybody experience that other than Ghost. But so that's definitively a different thing than what.
But allegedly, Ghost hopped on an alt account and it went away.
Yeah.
So it's a completely different thing. But for all I know, it's So it all depends too, because people throw around shit and they don't realize how unhelpful it is to developers, because everybody's screaming at Nikita. They say it's account related. Well, that means different things depending on how you interpret it.
Yeah.
Right? Because it could be the fucking hideout related. It could be skills related. It could be when you switch accounts, it clears your cache. Maybe he's connected to different servers on the different account.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it was intermittent and he just got unlucky. And
exactly,
if he was on that account earlier, he would have experienced it. So there's
100%.
a million things, and everybody's talking about them differently. And it's the reason why I fucking hate all of the issues with Tarkov, because it's 9 million ignorant people complaining about issues that the developers don't know anything about and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But Ghost Freak did say, he sent me a screenshot. And now I don't know if this was Nikita. It's him talking to somebody at Battle State. But it says, "We know what's causing the issue. Thank you." And then Ghost said, "Is there anything I can do at the moment?" And they answered with, "Not really. We are not sure how long the hotfix will take." And then he says, "Thanks. Break time, I guess, for me." Because he can't play the game.
Yeah. Yeah, not like that.
90% of the shots, as well as him getting shot, that happens, and his game locks up.
Yeah.
Completely. So maybe they're two symptoms of the same thing, and it
for
affects
sure.
people differently.
For sure.
I don't know. At this point, I mean, it sucks, but
yeah.
I am no longer doing any more fucking debugging.
Oh, no. And I don't think, and yeah, me bringing it up was more just to like talk about and report
I don't
on,
think,
what's happening. But that's exactly it. Is like, it's hard though. It's so hard because like I am very ignorant about how these things work, but it's not my fault I'm ignorant, right? Because like I didn't go to school to learn this stuff. So it's a double-edged sword where like a lot of people can come together and provide a lot of data really quickly, being like, hey, this is what happened to me, this is what I tried, this is this. But like when we append all of that with our opinion, or with our like, how many people have you've seen exactly on Twitter say, oh my God, BSG fixed the desync. Like in 10 minutes of conversation, you and me, we've identified at least 2 separate issues, right? Like it can't be desync if it's happening online, and then it can't be account bound if it only happens when I use shotguns. It's not only when shotguns are being used, because other people are having that issue without shotguns, but it only happened with shotguns to me. Like it's complicated. So just yelling fix the desync, like you can do whatever you want on Twitter, whatever, but it's like report the bugs. Like that's the most valuable information we can send, because it's obviously complicated, multifaceted, and showing up, if it is the same thing or if it's different things, it's showing up in different ways to different people. So the best information we can provide them is literally in a bug report, what you did, what the results were, clips, logs, and then, hopefully they can figure it out. Because it wouldn't be the first time that the community, it wouldn't be the first time you specifically did some testing, found something, submitted what you thought the issue was, you were right. So it's like, it's not a bad thing people are trying to figure out what the issue is. It's a bad thing when all the emotion gets mixed up in it. We call everything the same thing. And it's a bad thing when there's actually no real reporting going on. You know what I mean? When we smush all this info together, complain about it, but don't actually submit any of it to BSG.
Yeah, I mean, so again, that's a double-edged sword, because so many people submit things to BSG that it seems and feels like they're not doing anything with, because customer service says, check your fucking router settings, have you tried doing whatever, and they just, so a lot of people think, and I feel rightfully so, that they're wasting their time submitting bug reports. And then at the same time, why do you think QA people exist? Yeah. Because normal fucking people, if there's not someone in between you and a bunch of devs, non-engineered, non-QA, tech-savvy people, then it's literally worse than if they just didn't fucking say anything to you at all. Yeah. Because they'll send you down rabbit holes, or when they try to explain their issue, it's like, send me the logs. As long as you have good logs, or you get crash reports or whatever, it's like, send me the information. I don't give a fuck what you think it is. Yeah. Tell me what you did if there are steps to reproduce, but don't say fix your fucking desync when your game suddenly turns black and white and then gets muted. Yeah. And then you're just getting on the fucking mauled train on Twitter, and then sending me fucking 50 clips. Yeah. You should see my Twitter DMs. Yo, can you look at this clip?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
I'm like, right now? No, I can't. I'm sorry, but I don't get paid enough by BSG to do any more fucking bug testing. Yeah. No, and by enough, I mean at all, for those of you wondering.
Yeah, literally zero.
Wait, he's on the payroll? What the fuck?
Yeah. No, I don't know, man. So it's definitely like the perfect storm, where it's a complicated enough issue, most likely multiple issues that bleed into each other, that all fall under the like common jargon umbrella of desync. That and you know what, to a certain degree, I get it, man. It's frustrating as hell when you're trying to play the game and you die like that. You know what I mean? So it's all the things, you know what I mean? It's brought everybody out. It's brought the apologists out who are like, listen, they're trying their best. It's brought the people out who are like, what did you expect from this trash garbage pile, trash dog, trash game, dumb trash game, stupid game? You're stupid for playing it. And it's like, okay, like I just will kind of like, and you know, we end up in the same spot where it's like, I'm just mad I died like that. Just give me 10 seconds. I had 3 quests item on me. Give me 10 seconds to mauled about the fact that I died to Killa doing a triple backflip, and then let me move on. You know what I mean? So it's dark days out there right now, man, because it's pervasive enough throughout the community to be a real problem, and it's hard to diagnose.
Oh, we have to realize, quote, we have to realize this game is still in beta and things like this are going to happen. Oh, God, fuck me. Like, everything you're saying is true, but you know, missing the fucking context of 4 years of the same shit happening.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, my fucking brain.
Yeah. I don't know. So we'll move on from that. It's brutal. It's brutal out there. Stay frosty out there, folks. It's rough. Other than that, though.
Other than that, everything works fine.
Other than that, yeah. Other than all the stuff that's like completely and utterly broken and prohibiting a fun experience, it's pretty fun. Other than those things. Okay, so other things that have changed. So dude, okay. This is super interesting. You know how last week we were talking about how like they reduced the Kappa level, and we were like, that's pretty cool because we wanted that for a while.
Yep.
They made it so like, you know how it was kind of confusing where like certain quests you would have to do for Kappa, but certain quests you wouldn't, and there was no way to know which ones you needed for Kappa other than to check the wiki. Like, you know, there was no thing. Well, now it's every single quest that you get before level 55 you have to do, other than like the ones where you have to kill the bosses 1,000 times. Other than that, you have to do them all, which includes a bunch of stupid quests that like so much so that I don't know if I'm gonna go for Kappa now, even though it's at 55 as opposed to 62, because some of those quests are just so brutal. Like that capturing outpost quest. I think you were trying to do that last and you gave up, where you have to kill PMCs on the pier. You have to kill PMCs in the little Emercam camp on Woods.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I never finished that.
Yeah.
Now that you mention it.
But now that's Kappa required. Even though they lowered it by 7 levels.
They didn't change the quest?
No.
Of course not, dude. Why the fuck?
So, like,
enjoy, everyone.
It's so brutal, dude. It's so brutal. So that was very sad. So, like, literally, even though it's easier to get when it comes with, like, amount of XP, like, to get in level, like, I legitimately don't think that I'm going to go for it this time. It's, like, it's just so weird. It's so weird. And then they've done a bunch of changes where, like, the quest that you have to hand in the Epsilon container and you got, like, 777,777 XP. Well, yep. You used to get that quest at level 60, remember? Because, like, it got us from, like, 60 to 61 and a half. And then we were like, oh, we're pretty much at Kappa.
When you say used to, you mean, like, this is a brand new...
Oh, yeah. Well, last wipe, we did it, and we talked about that. Because when we were both close to Kappa, we were like, oh, I just got to do this thing. Well, they lowered that quest. You get that quest at, like, 50 now. But it was still 777,777 XP. And then, like, people started turning in that quest. And that is enough to get you, like, from, like, 50 to 54 or 50 to 53. And so then they cut it down to, like, 333,333 XP. But after, like, 30 people turned it in and got to, like, skip 4 levels. And it's just one of those things where, like, they obviously put somebody on that because somebody reduced that quest level from 60 to 50. It's just, dude, it's so many of the little things that it's like, why didn't you just do this at the wipe?
You know what? Because I bet insert streamer here, whether it's clean or whatever. The only reason why I say clean is because, like, I think that Nikita, like, respects his opinion,
Yeah.
and and he's obviously worked with them in the past. That seems to me like the most likely scenario, that someone just fucking said that, and he was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah,
Whenever
most
they
likely.
changes like that, it's always been the direct result of someone
Yeah.
saying, "Hey, I've played this quest X times. I've done this. I've done that. This would make for a good change." Because I don't think anybody at BSG really plays the game enough to be able to
Get to level 50 in 3 weeks.
have. I mean, yeah, not so much that, but more along the lines of like, in order to know how certain things feel in regards to progression, or what's the like balancing
Yeah.
around which quests, the interplay of all of these different things, right? Like there's no way that any of the testers at Battle State is thinking about, this quest has this much XP, and normally you're going to hit it on average when you're this point in the quest line, and you're going to be hard locked by this thing. Nobody, I guarantee you, nobody at Battle State thinks that in depth.
Yeah.
They're always like, did the quest work? Did it crash? Was I able to turn it in? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's a very straightforward mindset that I just don't think is there. Yeah.
No, for sure. But yeah, I don't know. It was super weird. Like, I would love to hear from them why they made the Kappa change, just because like on so many levels. Like, one, I thought the point of lowering it was to make it easier to get. You know what I mean? Like, why make it easier to get and then harder to get in a different way? Like, that's a weird question. And two, like, some of those quests, man, are just like, you know what I mean? Like, get 15. I mean, like, you literally, you were doing this last wipe. Get 15 PMC kills on the pier. How do you do that? Like,
you can do that if everybody is on that quest at the same time.
Yeah.
So wait until a week before the next wipe, when the average person has, the average person is at that progression. But really, it's like, unless you're in a server with a bunch of try-hard, high level people, then you're never gonna fucking find anybody to do that with,
Exactly. And it's like, and so what is the, what's the, because I can understand Shooterborn in Heaven. What are they trying to do there? They're trying to get people to snipe. You know what I mean? They're trying to get people to use long scopes, to use, to learn the ballistics and the drop and like experience that type of gameplay.
Are they? Are you sure?
I think so. I choose to believe so.
You're being generous.
I'm being generous, and I choose to believe so. But what the hell is capturing outposts supposed to do? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, if the point of Kappa is we're going to dangle this carrot at the end of maybe this really long stick, but it's the reason to progress through, then it's like, you know what I mean? Like, how do you do that? Like, you literally have to, the best players in the game have to go out there and camp and just wait and bring SVDs to shoot them in the air or throw grenades to try and bait players in. And the player has to come all the way down the bridge. What's really happening is everybody else is on Shooterborn in Heaven, not capturing outposts. So when you get down to the pier, they go up and camp you to get out of the pier, and you have to wait till that guy comes down onto the pier. And so it's like, what's the gameplay that we're trying to figure out here? I get if it's like, oh, we just kind of want this to happen naturally throughout the wipe. Maybe you think about it a little bit more. You hang out at the pier, you chase somebody down at the pier. Well, then don't make it a Kappa required quest, because the whole point, like, that's where it's one of those things where, a lot of people give grief the Chads who are like, well, why are you grinding out Kappa so fast? It's like, because the Kappa by definition is meant to be grinded for, right? Like, it's like if they didn't want you to grind for Kappa, then they would just put it at like level 50, you get Kappa, right? Like, it's just like, but it's classic video game psychology, right? It's like RPGs and all this stuff. Like, you have to do this raid, but this thing you're looking for in WoW only has a 5% drop chance. That's not because they want you to do the raid once and experience it. It's because they want you to do the raid 1,000 times. So it's like, The whole point of the Kappa is to grind for it and like try and get it and try and do this thing. You know what I mean? So it's like, I kind of like don't really agree with the people that are just like, well, why are you grinding out Kappa? It's like, because that's what it's there to do. They should be a little bit more smart, where if this quest has the purpose of like, well, we just want to, you know, somebody to experience this thing, well, then don't put it behind the grind thing, because then people are going to try and grind it and it's going to get weird and frustrating. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I mean, if only they just I started to think about this 14 seconds ago and already came up with, I think, an idea that I can almost guarantee they've never actually thought about this, but how much better would the quests be if the order of them would make it so that there were some synergies, quote unquote?
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean? Like, that's something so simple that I guarantee they've just never considered. And you think after 7 years of development, that would be like, should have a fucking quest Bible.
Yeah.
Whether it's sticky notes or writing on a whiteboard or whatever, right? But yeah, I mean, the whole idea, it's kind of similar to, and this is why I said I felt like you were being generous, right? Because the whole idea of, they come out with a quest that's like, do something at nighttime. They're like, this is genius. Players are going to play nighttime. When you have one quest, then all that means is 2% of the player base is going to be on that one quest, which means you're never going to come across another player at nighttime.
Yeah.
You know, so that's just an example.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe there's
so
probably
to have
more reasons now.
A low-level quest, a mid-level quest, and a high-level quest that require you to go nighttime would mean that a month into the wipe, most likely night raids are populated, because on any end of the spectrum a player could be in. But if there's only one nighttime quest, everybody just does it as they're passing through, and there's never really a lot of people playing night.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about with like the capturing outposts, right? Like, oh, we want people to explore and fight in these parts of the map. Well, there's no, okay, the pier, there's no fucking reason to go there almost never, unless you're just trying to avoid everybody and be a loot goblin.
Yeah.
So that's kind of annoying. Now, I think the one on woods, there's at least reason to go there.
Yeah, there's loot.
So, so it's like, if they changed it from the pier to like even the resort or something, it wouldn't be as cancerous, because when you're much more likely to come across people anywhere else. There's no reason. There's just so many reasons why it's that aspect of the quest is fucking terrible. I don't even remember. Where's the third one?
It's a fortress on customs, which happens pretty naturally.
Yeah.
At the end of the wipe, 3 weeks ago, because you get capturing outposts and you don't have to restart it. It just accumulates. I had all my kills that I needed in fortress. I had like 2 kills on the pier and like 5 kills in the woods thing. And I play a lot of woods. I play a lot of woods. That was me naturally. That was me not trying to grind it. It was like, I got 2 kills on the pier. You know what I mean? By the end of the wipe, like.
Now imagine like I remember after I finished the woods iteration of that. I forget if it was a quest or it might have been a daily quest, but it had me going to get some fucking item, not cigarettes. It was just one of those things. Maybe it was sugar. I don't remember. But it was one of those things that like you can find in the little crates.
Okay. Yeah.
No, soap. Bar of soap. And it was like, this is such a stupid example, but I remember after I finished all those things, I got a daily quest that was like find 30 soap, and I'm like, well, now I have a reason to go there, like another reason. Yep. It would be less shitty if there was synergy between the quests so that like I could do 2 or 3 of them at the same time.
Yeah.
Because if nobody's there, I can at least look through all the boxes to find soap.
Yep.
If there are people there, then I get PvP. If I win, I could do both.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like you can make one quest better by changing the order of or the contents of other quests.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
for sure.
Yeah, these are all things that I'm screaming off into the abyss because I could come up with a fucking 100-page document, and
Yeah.
Nikita would be like, don't worry, we're already on it. Or he'd be like, well, we're changing all the quests anyway. And then 3 years later, we'd have the same fucking quests.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And like another example of like, at least in my opinion, the like opposing forces of like what's better for the game and then what's better for the quests is like, so killing Killa. I'm on that quest where, you just have to kill and you turn his helmet. Valiant is on it too, and we did it. We did, I think, 12 to 15 interchange raids today, and we were just like SJ6ing, running through the map. We didn't find Killa one time. And it's so hard because Valiant was frustrated. He was like, I miss the days where he only spawned right here, and I could just, it was easier to find him. And I was like, right now, for sure, when you're on the quest, but that was so bad for the game. And right now, the changes to Killa are so much better for the game, but then those good changes become complete blockers for completing the quest.
And imagine if they made those two changes at the same time, you could conclude that they had any fucking foresight and they actually thought about it, but they never do.
Yeah.
They change one and then wait until the community mauls so loud they can't ignore it, or one streamer gives them a really simple explanation for why it's dog shit, and then they change it.
Yeah. So it's like, it's so rough because their spawn chances are so low. He can spawn anywhere on the map. And then, I fold in my and he's very broken. I've died to him many times this way. Like, it's so hard. Like, you then put the player in a weird spot where if you've already completed the quest, you don't want everybody else to be able to just run in and grind out Killa armors, and now everybody's got Killa armors and BS and a Golnik. So you want Killa to be, rare. But when you're on the quest, you're like, this is bullcrap. I've played 63 interchange runs, and he's not spawning, or he spawns on the other side of the map that I spawn. And it's like, man, like, I wish that I don't necessarily know the answer. I think it would be nice if we got those kill boss quests earlier on. You know what I mean? Like, I've run into Killa 3 or 4 times this wipe. Now I have the quest, and of course it's like he's nowhere to be found. So it's like, I don't necessarily know the solution, but I see those as like these opposing forces where, like, if you're trying to quest, it's super frustrating that Killa is not in one specific spot all the time. But if you're not trying to quest, it's actually really nice that Killa doesn't just spawn in one specific spot all the time. And those forces just like butt heads when you're the player in either one of those scenarios. You know what I mean?
Those change all of those quests to kill him once, and then it's not so immersion breaking that you have to kill the same person 50 times, and it's manageable.
Yeah.
If they want something to be grindy and annoying and hard, come up with something that is that and not cancer. Like, like, roll the dice, and if you roll 10 dice and get all 6s, add 1 tally. When you get 10 tallies, you win a prize.
Yeah.
Fuck that. That's what it is with Killa stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and I've said a million times, like, I don't know what the number would be, because I don't know what the equivalent number would be to make it grindy or whatever, but it's like, kill 2,000 PMCs. You know what I mean? That's like a grindy thing that you've got to do. That takes a lot of work, but you can do it anywhere. And it's not like so reliant on this terrible thing. You know what I mean? Like, for a cosmetic item, yeah, you know what I mean? But yeah, so it's definitely weird, and it's just definitely like a hard balance where the quests feel like it pushes you to do one thing, but then general game balance would tell you that thing that you're trying to do is bad and broken. And like, and then that's the thing is, like, once again, people come at me or whatever, and they're like, well, you're just, why are you trying to push down the quests and get them done? And it's like, okay, if I'm a Chad that plays the game 10 hours a day, right? And it takes me 4 days to get Killa. Like, what are the chances that you get Killa ever then? If you're the casual player that plays 10 hours a week, it's like, yes, I'm complaining it took me 4 days to get Killa, but 4 days for me is the equivalent of 3 months for you. You're not even on that quest yet. It's going to take you a few weeks to get on that quest. Like, yeah, you might get lucky and get a first try, but on the average, the casual player will never complete the quest. we're complaining that it's taking us a week as opposed to a day, and that frustrates you. I get it, but it's like you ain't on average. You're never gonna complete that quest. If so, so why? It's like it's just that weird animosity between like the chads and the casuals or whatever. It's like you're mad that this is my job and I get to play all day. I get it, whatever. But it's like that I've said it so many times. It's like people just don't understand. It's like if you make something harder for the chads, you make it harder for you. And if you make something easier for you, you make it easier for the chads. Like that is always, or at least in every example anyone's ever given me, it's always true. Oh, well, we want the casuals to be able to experience more of the gear. Okay, you do understand that the guy that plays literally 10 times more than you, it's going to make it easier for him to have the gear or the ammo or the armor or whatever it is. And then on the flip side, it's like, well, he's got too much ammo. It's like, well, if we want to make it rare for the guy that plays 12 hours a day, you are never finding it, bro. You know what I mean? So it's like, and I'm not saying that that's an easy balance. I'm not saying I have the solution. I'm just saying watch what you know what I mean? Like if you just go into Valiant stream and be like, well, why are you getting so mad? Just stop farming kill. It's like, well, then, all right, dude, when you have to lie in the bed you made when it's your turn to go get Killa and you just want to complete a few quests. You know what I mean? Like it ain't ever happening. So it's weird for sure. That being said, they have messed with the boss spawn chances 2 times already. I'm wondering if they literally toned them down in the beginning of the wipe so that there wasn't so much like high tier gear going around, or
maybe I saw. Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, or they turned it way down thinking it would be perfect and it was way too low. I mean, some of the boss spawn rates were like 5%. It's like that. What?
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, that sounds like something that maybe someone recommended. I don't know.
But then they upped it, and then they upped it again.
Yeah. So, I mean, how long have we been saying nerf all of these things, whether it's spawn rate or the raiders, the rogues, the bosses, the whatever, just like nerf everything is to prolong the beginning of the wipe. As a stopgap until they like design the game. But yeah, I mean, so what I was gonna say is when I was watching Ghost, one of the things he did because we wanted to test sniping to see if the lag was on mouse click or if it was on
connection.
Hit. Yeah. It was on mouse click. I mean, you'd see the tracer and it'd be like lag hit.
Damn.
And you even got me saying lag. It wasn't lag, it was a freeze.
Yeah.
But yeah, just seeing the bosses are like the fucking homies on Lighthouse. Did I say reserve? I think I said reserve. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was the new dudes on Lighthouse.
Yeah.
And they were more busted than I've ever seen. Like he was on the big mountain with the tree, right? And he had a thermal. Maybe he had like Thor's hammer or whatever, but he was like, he'd poke up an inch, look through the thermal, he'd see a sliver of like warm body behind 7 trees, and all of a sudden you'd be like getting hit with like 9 mil or 993 or even like the M4. There was like an M4 that looked sick, but of course he shot it and it was like this.
100%.
And I was full autoing him from all the way 100%. Across.
Or like Bird Eye will have like a March tactical and there's no target acquisition time, right? Like if you go from high ready to I'm looking through a 10x scope, what's the likelihood you're like, there he is? Like you're like, where am I? Oh, there's the tree. There's no target acquisition time. All of their guns are at 20 to 30 durability, but they never jam for the bosses.
That was the other thing. He had the M4. He picked it up, and he was getting shot for like 15 minutes. He was just getting shot trying to test this, and it was like, click. And he's like, yeah,
100%.
fucking course.
100%.
Course.
Never aggro for never jams for the bosses. They're busted though, dude. They're so busted, dude. I released my video today. I don't know if you care to watch it, but my video today is the scavs are broken, but they don't have to be. And it's literally like I've just collected all my thoughts of my like 2-hour malt session from last week, and I was like, this is why they're broken. This is the proper fix for them. I understand that might take time. Here's a Band-Aid fix that would make it easier. And then at the end, I was like, and so like, let's look at the rogue bosses. The cycle continues. On paper, in the patch notes, these bosses sounded awesome. All of their concept art looks awesome. It feels like they have really cool gear. And then I play a clip. I asked Vibin permission, and I told him, I was like, the point of the video is not to make you look stupid. It's to make, the AI look stupid, I promise. But Vibin let me use his clip. He's been on this quest because it's Kappa required. You got to kill all 3, dude, to get the Kappa. They spawn on 4 different maps, 5% spawn chance. He's played 200 raids trying to find him. He's running up. So on Shoreline, they spawn on the weather station, with the all the way up top with like the building and the safe and the big radar tower. They spawn up there. He's running up there, and he just gets from all sides, and he was like, ah! And he runs into the building. He was like, they're here, they're here, they're here. And he knew what to do, man. He knew what to do. He had him aggroed on him. He runs into the bathroom, and he closes the door with his SR-25. Big Pipe phases through the door, snaps back, the door opens, he goes pop, 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 kills Big Pipe, closes the door. Knight runs up to the door, phases through the door, phases back out of the door opens, pop, 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 kills Knight, closes the door. Bird Eye runs up to the door, phases through the door, phases back out of the door opens, pop, 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 kills Bird Eye. And he's like, yes! And I just played that clip, and then I freeze it, and I'm like, was that fun? Was that realistic? Was that immersive? Like,
and 1,000 people would see that live and be like, "What a fucking 700 IQ Chad! Like, he is the best Tarkov. Not that he's not good.
No, and that's what I said in the video. I said,
what makes it fucking worse?
I said
people like jerk off to the fucking thought and the idea of like he knows the game. He's a fucking pro.
Yeah, and I told him, I was like, and I said in the video, I was like, to be clear, I'm on this quest too, and if I see them on Shoreline, I'm going to do that because that's the game we're in. That's the only way I stand a chance is to do that as opposed to fight them for real. I was like, I'm going to do it too. It's so busted. And that's the thing is like, you can't look at that and tell me they're smart, right? Like they're not smart. They're dumb. They're dumb, but they're impossible. Smart. And they don't play by our rules. And it's so bad, bro. It's so bad. So it's like, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. I don't even know how we got there. You're saying Ghost was on Lighthouse fighting them. It's just like, they're
exactly like they were
atrocious.
And then Tagilla. So is it the case that the spawn rate is 100% for all bosses in offline mode?
That's what I've heard. If you click bosses, enable bosses, they will spawn. That's what I've heard.
Oh, okay. I didn't know there was an enable boss.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he went and fought Tagilla, and every single time he fought him, Tagilla would run, and he'd run into a wall and just run in place with his fucking head and gun in the wall.
Yeah.
It's like over and over. Like, is he fucking... Remember back before, no matter, you'd shoot him once, he'd turn around and run behind the fucking dumpsters.
Yep.
And he'd just sit there and heal. And in the mid-heal, he would try and like hit you. He'd be doing this while he's bandaging. And now he just runs and...
it's crazy. It's like,
oh, great, he's fucking broken again. It makes me wonder, once again, if they have a serious source control issue and they just keep merging in broken patch 1, 2, 3 from however long ago.
Yeah. And so it's like, and someone said it in chat, and I understand it, where they're like, it seems like it almost feels like they're designed with that in mind, like to cheese them, but you can tell that they aren't, because like, why did they devote 2 paragraphs of the patch notes of this wipe's patch notes to they'll radio each other and they'll communicate with the rogues if they're on Lighthouse to coordinate your position, and they've got radio equipment? Like, why did they spend 2 paragraphs talking about that if you're only going to experience 2 paths, immediate death or complete cheese ball, they all just push you into a room? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, they should have just made them like aliens, like Elden Ring. Well, we're adding Elden Ring bosses to freaking find the way to cheese them and then cheese them, and that's how you win. You know what I mean? It's like, but they didn't. They show us all this cool stuff, and they tell us about this lore, and they tell us about the new AI that they're supposed to have, and how they're intelligent, and how they use their environment, and how some will be aggressive and some will be defensive. It's like they put time into doing that. That means that this isn't what they want. At least that is how I choose to interpret it. That means that this is not what they want.
Are people actually fucking arguing that this is what they want?
Yeah, small amount of people. But yeah, of course.
These humans fucking vote, dude. Like, oh my God.
I've had some people say that. I think a lot of people just say that more people just say that that's how it like feels. Like it feels like this is exactly what they wanted me to do. I don't think a lot of people actually think. Anyways, we're getting into the weeds. Yeah, it's just rough, man, and it's bad. And so the bosses are just like in this super weird spot where they are like lower their chances, and then nobody can quest, and then they increase their chances, and then people are like, I just keep dying to Killa. I don't understand why. And it's like this just weird thing.
It's crazy how the AI, like, being an issue, it's like it's a brand new issue, man. Like,
I know this wipe.
Nobody's ever fucking talked about it before. Has anybody noticed how bad the AI is this wipe? Go fuck yourselves.
Yeah. And the big thing
with the fucking timestamp release date of 2013, and they'll be like, "What the fuck, dude?"
Dude, and the thing that gets me is when people are like, "Yeah, but they can't be too easy," and I'm like, do you think we're close to that?
It's either intended or
do you think we're anywhere close to the line that would be, man, I feel like they're too easy? Like, are you worried we're going to tip over into that right now? Like, we can't even see that line, bro. We are miles away from them being an insignificant, inconsequential enemy. You know what I mean? Like, imagine that fight with Ghost. If they even if everything had remained exactly the same, but their accuracy, like if their accuracy right now is at a 99 out of 100, if their accuracy was at like a 42 out of 100, you know what I mean? Like if every time he peeked up, he got shot at, and that would scare Ghost enough, because you don't want it to be where it's like you can just stand up and like, so you know what I mean? Like they're shooting at you, they can see you, and they're tracking you, and they're moving around. So you freaking freak out, but like you reposition, and then they see you and you reposition, but you're not instantly dying when you peek. You know what I mean?
And that's a solution that I guarantee you can be changing a number in a fucking config file or something somewhere. Yeah. Like,
and it's infinitely adjustable. You could turn it down and be like, oh, it's too low. And, you know, we could dial it in. You know what I mean? Like,
well, we're not going to make any changes because we're redesigning them. We're not going to make any changes until after we have the new bosses. We're not going to make any changes until we make changes to the rogues and we want to do this. We're not going to make we're not going to make changes. Period.
Yeah.
They'll make changes with a lowercase c, but not meaningful ones.
Yeah.
And that's what makes me sad.
Yeah. So it's certainly is something. There's like, and that's what's frustrating, is that like some of them are close. Like Killa is in a really good spot if you turn his aim down. Like I love that he doesn't spawn in the same spot. I love that it's just like it's like this random chance encounter, and it's scary and stuff like that. But every time we've come across him this wipe, it's like we've only known it was Killa because one of the group is dead, and they're looking at Killa at the end. You know, it's like Killa killed me. You know what I mean? It's like there is no fight. So it's like, but the changes they've made to him around like where he's spawning, stuff like that, are so good. It puts him in a much better spot. But it's like, you know, he went from too predictable and too easy to kill to too predictable and hard to kill to incredibly unpredictable and really hard to kill. And it's like, that's the worst of the three IMO. But
well, I mean, yeah, and that's because the community and BSG are purely reactionary. Yeah, everyone was using Igolnik and Killa armor.
Yeah.
Molded at how common they were. So BSG's solution was to make it so that he had dog shit weapons 30% of the time. And then everybody would mauled because they die to him using a fucking Keter or whatever.
Or a TT.
So then they fucking ruined his spawn chances. And then everybody was saying he's too fucking easy and he's farming them. And everybody's got all this good shit. And everybody's getting tracksuit. And yeah, so then they made it so that he spawns 1 out of every 472 billion years.
Yeah.
And then they just make all these little changes. And they're looking at one tree trunk at a time. They're not seeing the fucking forest.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that like I said that in my video, like why the AI are broken is because their vision, like their reaction time is too quick, their accuracy is too high, and their pathing is too predictable. Like you boil it down, almost everything, they're cheesable because of their predictable pathing, and they're hard because they can see you from a mile away, they can react in a literal, nanosecond, and they don't miss.
Mm-hmm.
So what are the changes? Were the changes to their predictable pathing, their reaction time, or their accuracy? No, the changes are to what gun they have, what armor they have, how often they spawn, where they spawn. It's like, what are we doing? Like, I can write it on a napkin and mail it to Russia if you need me to. The problem is vision, accuracy, and pathing. I'm not even saying those things are easy to change, but I'm saying you're not changing those things. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Isn't it depressing when you know what things should be and you also know short-term band-aids that would be better than what we have today? If you're going to say, I accept your reasoning for why those things aren't in the game yet, and that's okay. Take the time you need, but do these things, and none of that ever happens.
Yeah. I mean, that was my
so
foray into that today. Like, I felt like I made my first Veritas video today, where I was like, the first 2 minutes were me mauling. The next 7 minutes were me being like, this is why it's broken. This is how it should be. And then the last 5 minutes were like, I get that it can't be how it should be right now. And here's the Band-Aid fix of how it should be. I was like, this is everything here, baby. Like, and once again, I don't claim to be some master game designer. You know what I mean? But I just,
you don't have to,
but I just, but exactly. It's like, I don't know. I don't have to be a mechanic to know that when I turn the key to my car, my engine sets on fire is a bad thing. But that does not require classic training. And I never once, if that happens, went, it's almost like they built the car with this in mind. You know what I mean? No. I'm like, shouldn't do that.
You bought a sports car. It's meant to be like hard to drive. It'll weed out all of the
100%.
casual drivers.
Yeah.
But
100%.
But listen, the same thing happened to me. You said the car set on fire. Same thing happened to me. I was driving and all of a sudden, like my tire had no air in it. Same thing happened to me.
Same exact thing happened to me, bro.
And actually, I heard the same thing happen to. Oh God, I almost said Dale Earnhardt. But then me saying what I almost said was me saying it. I couldn't think of any other NASCAR drivers, and of course I had to.
It's the only one I know.
God damn it.
In other news, 556 got a buff.
I heard.
Yep.
Is it like usable?
Well, here's the thing, man. I was big into I ran so much 556 last wipe just to be like the walking, it's not as bad as you think it is type deal. So I thought 556 was fine. I thought it was, of course. So like the issue that they fixed is that it had especially compared to other rounds, it had very little one tap potential because a lot of the damage values were so close to head that if there was any sort of distance, 80, 90 meters, the damage fall off that they introduced would mean you wouldn't one tap somebody, or if it hit a helmet and any of the damage was absorbed by the helmet before going to the head, it wouldn't one tap. And they fixed that. Almost every single round got a 2 to 5 damage buff, which literally one peg and tower did the math where like that equates to like 50 to 75 meters of additional viability of one tapping somebody for sniping, and it helps with a little bit with helmets. So I was like, nice. And like a few got like a 1 or 2 point pen, either reduction or increase, but by and large, they just addressed that issue, which I think is great. But like, yeah, dude, I don't know. I freaking almost all of my absolute best nutty plays, 3-4 man squad wipes, even up to like the week of the wipe last wipe, I had an M4 in my hand or an AK-101. Like it's just like,
because when people die when they're using a 5.56 gun, it's because the ammo's bad.
Exactly.
When they die using the 308 gun, it's the lag or the desync.
Exactly. Or a mutant, it's the lag or the desync. It's like, dude, it's like positioning and map knowledge are always more important. Positioning, map knowledge, and accuracy are always more important than the ammo you're using. You know what I mean? Like,
but not as important as internet connection and RNG.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So
I had to, sorry.
So I love 5.56. I've always loved 5.56. It's better now, definitively. Like, it's better now. That was a good change they made. But the problem with 5.56 is 7.62. That's
the problem is that there's just better options.
Exactly. That's been my thing, is that like the problem with 5.56 is that there isn't a round that, like, the 7.62 isn't like better if you're doing this, but worse if you're doing this. It's just like, it's just better. Just use this. And it's like, okay. Same with 308, right? 7.62 by 51. It's like M62 you can buy from the traders, M61 you can buy from the traders. You can craft them both. They're just better. You know what I mean? Like, I can buy 90 rounds of 5.5A1 every 3 hours. Of course.
Do you want to balance the bullets? It's better in real life.
Of course, people. Yeah, of course, people think 5.56 is bad. You know what I mean? So, it's that's where it is. So yeah, it's still very usable. I use it all the time. I went on like a 14 raid streak with a 5.56 MDR like over the past 2 days.
Oh well, that never happens to me. It must be fucking streamer servers, bro.
Dude, bro, the amount of salt, the amount of people that were like calling, when for like a brief second the prevailing theory of or at least to some people for the desync was like high level accounts or high level skills. The amount of people that instantly were like, yeah, dude, it's just the streamer tax. I was like, dude, this is so messed up. I was like, if this stuff happens to you, you're freaking malding, you're tweeting about it, but it's like, because it happens, like, you're so jealous, it's disgusting. You know what I mean? It's like, dude. I
hope they were being ironic, dude.
I was like, the amount of people, I was like, bro, this is so... Because the only high-level players are streamers. That's a fact. Nobody's level 50 and doesn't stream. That's just, of course, a fact. It's a streamer tax. That was sarcasm, by the way, for the audio.
Some people, like, they joke about that ironically when you find some good shit and they're like, streamer loot, Kappa, But there are other people who, like, literally unironically believe that streamers have some sort of, like, there's something in the code that gives a subset of people priority or benefits or whatever. And it's again, these people vote. So.
Sniper scavs are going prone, then lying on their back, clipping into the geometry of the rocks they're in, but you think that the code can tell that I'm a streamer and then prioritize me. Like,
I'm sure someone goes in hard codes fucking landmarks account ID and like for sure.
account
ID and
yeah, totally. That seems like something they can do with relative ease. I'm finally at the point where I'm testing out some of the new guns. We got the G36 and the
G36 is in the game.
Yeah. There's like 4 variants. They're all 5.56, but there's like 4 different variants.
So they're unusable.
Yeah. You know what's frustrating though is that they suck, and this further cements I'm gonna mold a little bit. I get, you know what I mean? And maybe Nikita just loves his 7.62. Maybe he just, he's Russian. He loves the 7.62. Whatever, it's his game. But the G36, I'm gonna do a video on it. So like, I went into the weapon preset builder and I built like the meta, of all the variants: long barrel, medium barrel, short barrel. I just wanted to see like, what are we talking about here? Meta attachments and stuff like that. And all of them have like 7 ergo. Like all of them.
So they're all like the HK.
Yeah, like they're,
unless they buff the HK since I stopped playing.
They all have atrocious ergo, and they're really, really bouncy. Like vertical recoil. Once again, I don't care what that number says. If it's 53, 27, or 76, they're really bouncy vertically. But the RD 704 is a new 7.62 AK that got added to the game. And I had that with like not even meta parts today. I was running that, and it's a freaking laser beam, dude. So it's just another mutant. Like, it's so good. It's so good, which is cool because I like new guns that are fun. But I was like, oh, what? Like, and then people continue with like, oh yeah, dude, like 5.56 sucks, and it's like, come on, like. Give the G36 some love, man. I mean, I don't know how it fires in real life. I don't know if it fires flat, if it has a lot of recoil or whatever. But I also don't care how it shoots in real life.
Yeah.
Game balance.
I love how we both started singing a fucking Mauled song at the same time. It doesn't fucking matter how.
So yeah. So new guns are cool. The RD704 is cool. The G36 is cool. But sucks. I don't know. I need to use it more. Maybe it doesn't suck, but yeah, I don't know.
That probably sucks, dude.
People are saying the HK is better. You know what's crazy though? I was like, I almost incited some riots on Twitter. Like, dude, people would post like clips with the HK of them like mopping like a 5-man, but like in the last wipe, like 12-12. Like, it wasn't a like 11.7 or a 12. Like, there was like, I got this 4-man last week. They'd post the clip and then they'd be like, I miss the old HK, man. It's like unusable now. And I'm like, if anybody in this world watches this clip and tells me this gun needs to be buffed, I'm retiring from this game. Like, it was just like, it was just such a weird, like, I post a clip of you dying with the HK and then say I miss the old HK. Don't post a clip of you wiping the server while doing 360s and then be like, man, I miss the HK. It was such a weird thing, bro. I don't know.
Fucking A,
but I stayed out of it because I was like, I'm not gonna do it.
You should have.
Yeah.
Think about the clicks, man.
Think about the clicks. I know.
Think about the engagement.
I know. I can't do it. But that's pretty much Tarkov.
Seems like things are going really well.
Yep. I'm having fun.
I will say first of all, the comment section for the last video was nice. Lots of like 80% of the comments were 69. Nice.
Nice.
But also, second of all, I feel like it was all it took was Jesse to mauled a little bit for people to be like, yeah, gotta love the mauled. Yeah, now it's like, or maybe all of the people that normally would like, oh, I don't want to mauled too because then I'll just get attacked by the Twitter mob. All these people are like, well, both of them are maulding.
Yeah. If Jesse's
now I can hop on the mauled mobile, the mauled mobile.
Yep.
But yeah, the comments were fucking fantastic.
Yeah, I had a lot of people either tag me on Twitter or come into the stream and be like, that was one of the best episodes. It was like you know how YouTube shows you like out of 10. It's our 1 out of 10. Like, something about that one just definitely struck a chord.
Oh my god, dude, there's so much about that I like. It makes me.
Are we just gonna turn into like a drama podcast for the click so we can just mauled about stuff?
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't want to.
I mean, just as long as you're maulding too.
Yeah.
Because if I mauled, I'm wrong and I'm a dickhead and shouldn't play the game. If we both mauled, we're both just echoing the sentiments of the community. we're the fucking down to earth.
Yeah. Dude.
Nice to see that other streamers are having the same problems.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it is.
Yeah. So, woof. Dude. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I definitely think this is a good wipe for you to just like chill. And you know what I mean? There wasn't any crazy content. The community's, you know, exactly where you think it'd be. There's issues, some new, some old, but it's like, you know, I don't know.
Dude, I gotta say, as like a side note, it's been remarkably hard to stay sane with Twitch chat and me not playing Tarkov. I would say every 15 minutes, someone comes in and says, "Why aren't you playing Tarkov, dude? What the fuck?" And it was over and over and over again. And I had to explain how it's like, I'm not enjoying the game. I'm taking a break. And I found a game I'm really enjoying. And it's like, okay, cool. But then what people need to realize, oh, well, you're a streamer, dude. You signed up for answering questions. Sure, man. But none of my viewers want to see me give the same fucking 7-sentence response. So then they're like, oh, you don't want to play the game? You don't? Well, why not? Oh, you don't want to talk about it? Well, why not? So then what I ended up doing was blacklisting. So when people would come in and they would say EFT, Tarkov, Tarky, Battle State, Wipe, Nikita, BSG, all of those things, they would just get timed out for 5 seconds and it would respond automatically. The bot would respond with I don't want to play Tarkov. I'm not enjoying Tarkov, and I would prefer not to talk about Tarkov. And everybody responds with, why the fuck did I get timed out? What the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
What is fucking wrong with you? And it's like...
They don't read the thing.
So then I turn off the blacklist, and then 27 people come in and spam it. And then I'm like, can we just please change the subject? And the people are like, why don't you have a fucking command, dude?
Yeah,
like, why don't you change your bio or put it in your title? And it's like, you can't... There's someone in fucking chat just said, make a chat bind. And then he just said, oh, never mind.
Yo.
It's almost like, oh my God.
You should upload like a few BTTV emotes that are like those words, Tarkov. So anytime people type Tarkov, it's like SpongeBob comes up or just something completely off the wall. So like you can't type Tarkov in chat, capital or not. It just like pulls up with like an emote. And it's just like, if they
they're not going to have BTTV and they're going to say, what the fuck is wrong with Twitch?
That's
dude? Why
fine.
is my thing getting changed? Blah, 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 blah. And then someone else is going to be like, oh, because he's too sensitive and doesn't want to talk about it and he just mauls all day about it. And it's like, I can't fucking ignore them because they post the same shit over and over and over again. It always has 17 question marks.
Dude, sub only, baby.
I had to turn off the blacklist because 14 seconds into the podcast, 9 people got fucking timed out.
I guess that makes sense.
Why did I get timed out? It's like, read the fucking message that pops up. Like, why did I get timed out, dude? And then people in chat have to fucking explain to them. And they're like, well, I didn't see the message. Sorry. And then it's like, it's just impossible.
Yeah.
And then there was like a comment on the last podcast. It was like 1. It was, but it was like, if Veritas wasn't such a crybaby snowflake bitch and didn't fucking ban everybody, that blah blah blah. And it's like, all he does, he's so ban happy with all of his viewers. It's amazing he's got anybody watching him because he bans all of his viewers. It's like, no, I just ban salty dickhead people that won't leave me alone.
Yeah.
Like, just leave me alone. Then everybody feels entitled to an explanation.
Oh yeah.
The quickest, most succinct thing is for me to be like, I'm not playing, I'm not enjoying it, dude, and I don't really want to talk about it. And 1 out of 10 will be like, respect that, dude. How's everything going? Or they fuck off elsewhere, and that's fine. Well, why don't you want to talk about it, dude? What happened? Did Nikita fuck your wife? Like, what happened, dude? You know, like there has to be some explanation other than Nikita's dog shit to play in the community is cancerous.
Yo,
you know
what gets me, dude? What gets me is like the response to getting banned or even timed out is insane to me. Because like, when have you ever like, I don't know, dude. When have you ever like walked into a store, you know, you're at the beach, you walk in with no shoes on, and they're like, hey, you got to wear shoes. And then your response is you punch the dude that told you that in the face and them go, yo, you're right. Like, you're good. You're chill. Like, it's crazy to me that like what they want is to get unbanned, but their message to me, their DM is this like vitriolic, your mods are like Nazis. They're on such power trips. It's like you escalated it so much higher in an attempt to convince me you're a nice guy. That
you shouldn't have banned me, you racist word.
Exactly.
Racist word, you know.
It's crazy that they're trying to convince me to unban them. They're trying to convince me that they are a valuable member of this community by like spewing hatred in all caps. It's crazy, dude. Like, the messages will be like, somebody will, you know, talk about whatever. They talk about politics, and the mod will be like, hey, like, we're trying not to talk about politics. They'll say something again. They'll get their message deleted, not even timed out. Hey, we're trying to keep politics out of the chat. They say something again, they get timed out, and then they come to me and be like, what the hell? And it's like, dude, like, I just can't believe that. Like, even it's stupid. It's stupidity. The more sinister thing to do would to actually be like, yo, I'm so sorry. And then come in again and do it again. Like, if you wanted to really be a dick but be intelligent about it, you would actually apologize. I'd unban you, and then you'd go in and do it again, and you'd get another hook in. But it's like, it's crazy to me that the response, especially
they're just confirming that banning them was the right decision.
100%, especially when they get timed out, for something like, because a lot of times the timeout is like, I really don't want to ban you. You're not being like an uber dick. Like,
it's to delete the message from chat.
I'm trying to teach you a lesson here. I'm trying to be like, yo, I don't want to ban you. Can we just be chill? And the response to the timeout, you're literally placed on the edge, and you're like, it's like, oh, well then fine. You know what I mean? There you go. Like, dude, I can't understand that line of thinking. I truly cannot. Like, what are you trying to do here?
Because, well, their interpretation is the opposite of what you said. You walk in a Target with your shoes off, and the manager punches you in the face, and then walks away, and you're like, why the fuck was I? And then they turn around and punch you in the face.
Yeah.
Because it's so fucking personal. So, like, I had the blacklist, and people would be like, hey, man, you know, no Tarkov, fucking 5-second timeout with an auto response. I don't want to play Tarkov. I'm not enjoying the game. What? I can't mention Tarkov? 5 seconds timeout. What the fuck, dude? I can't mention EFT? 5-second timeout. Fuck this, dude. Your mods, you're such a fucking filthy cuck, blah, blah. And it's like, wow, dude, you get timed out because you're too brain dead to figure out what the fuck is going on or read the messages, and then you call me some mean shit.
It's crazy, dude.
Thanks for telling me that I should have banned you.
Yeah.
The moment you came in. And the best part too, dude, you pull up their messages, and I always see December 31st, 2020, exclamation point drops, exclamation point drops, exclamation point drops, exclamation point drops. And then 3 days later, exclamation point giveaway, exclamation point giveaway, exclamation point giveaway. And they're not following you. And then they come in and say some vitriolic shit. It's like, tell me everything you need to know about you without telling me everything you need to know about you. You say 3 things in my chat, and then I look at your history. And there you go.
Yep.
Oh, God damn it, Twitch chat. Just fucking, obviously not all Twitch chat. I hate that I even have a caveat, but like, just don't be you.
Just be better.
And I'm so excited for once the podcast is over to fucking flip the switch back on to turn on the blacklist. Now, the only problem with the blacklist, because now I just try to ignore people mauled as much as I can. But when people are like, resub for 50 months. Hey, dude, I fucking love that you found another game other to play than Tarkov. Fucking timed out.
Yeah. I'm glad.
I can't win, dude. I cannot win.
Or like I saw your Tarkov video. You know what I mean? Maybe they're new to the game. You've got tons of guides. They pop in and yeah, it's
just can't win. But dude, just do a command. Just put it in your bio. Yeah, because you know what? I bet you 99% of the viewers, they come in and they're like, I'm gonna scroll down and look at his bio before I ask him about the game that he's played.
Just go right for the in big fat white text in OBS. Just be like, I don't want to talk about Tarkov, and just put it at the top, and you can't.
They're gonna come into the stream and they're gonna have the 30-second ad, and they're gonna type the question before they even see the video.
You just can't win. It's true. Yeah, dude. Bro, that is one of my favorite things when people complain about how many ads there are while the ads are playing. So it's like, I can't respond to you. Like, what do you want me to say? Like, the ad's playing. You can't hear me. Oh, that's good.
7 ads? What the fuck? Now, here's the thing. I have mine set up for like, it's like 90 seconds of ads like every 2 hours or something. So I don't understand why people are like, I got 11 ads. I'm like,
yeah.
So that's either Twitch's problem. It's not my problem. But at the same time, it's like walking into Target and going up to the person and being like, you deserve to get paid $4 an hour. So they shouldn't be charging this much for towels.
Yeah.
I can't believe that they pay you this much or whatever. It's like, no, fine, dude. I can run, you know, you can see those 7 ads and everybody else that comes in, and I can pay my mortgage.
Yeah.
You know, and you cannot pay a dime.
Yeah.
I'm good, but I'm going to have to make you feel fucking terrible about it.
Yeah.
And, you know. Oh, well, that's what you signed up for, being a streamer, dude. Yeah, and cops signed up to be shot dead when they became cops, and they should be fucking fine with it. Doctors signed up to get COVID. They shouldn't be upset about, you know, anything because that's what they signed up for.
Yep.
Yeah, well, you signed up to get fucking banned by saying dumb shit in my chat, and you created your Twitch account. So
by your own logic, you signed up to get into a car accident. Do you have a car? It's like, it's what you signed up for, dude. Like, did you drive to work today? Like, the fact that you didn't get into a car accident means you got lucky. It's what you signed up for. You know what I mean? It's
you
like
put your seatbelt on. What do you expect, dude? Clearly, you expected to.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh God, yeah, I mean, thank God we have. Oh God, and then somebody fucking posts the URL and gets timed out. I can't win, dude.
Oh yeah. Well, unless you had anything else, I mean that's all I got.
I got nothing else to maul about.
Yeah.
I got nothing else to maul about. I'm gonna switch on the fucking blacklist, switch over to Trackmania, and then go back to having the next like 60 hours of my streaming until exactly a week from now. be completely Tarkov free and 98%
happiness.
Yeah, toxin free.
Yep. Make the title of your stream. If you type Tarkov in my chat, you will get banned. Just, I can't tell if that would help or hurt. You know what I mean? Like, because people would be like, wait, for real?
No, I mean, people want to. So I'm fairly certain in a previous episode, I think I said something along the lines of like, why is it that everybody has to fucking ask me about Tarkov with 19 question marks and exclamation points in all caps? I must have said that because
it's just been bad.
You know, because everybody does that. And it's like, the problem is 1 out of 10 is just one of those fucking weirdos that types in all caps with 18 question marks, which there's no way you can use more than 2 question marks without sounding like you're like, ah! As soon as you put 3 question marks, you're like, whoa, oh my God, like someone's got a fucking gun to your head and is like, ask them about Tarkov, and you're fucking panicking. There's no way.
So true, dude. You know what's
and fucking temper tantrum in a puddle of your own piss on the ground.
Bro.
That's 4 question marks.
Bro, it's so weirdly true though. Like 1 question mark is a question. 2 question marks is very specifically just like an urgent question. 3 and above, and you like immediately fall off the cliff into temper tantrum. And I never thought about it, but it's so real. It's so funny.
You can imagine all caps.
Yeah, 2 question marks is totally just like an urgent question, but 3 and above, and it's like, dude, hands off the keyboard, bro. Like, holy cow.
Well, dude, why don't you just have a command? Why don't you just blacklist it? Why don't you just whatever?
That's so funny.
Because if I don't talk to them and I just ban them, well, then they're going to be like in Landmarks chat 3 seconds later. What a salty cuck. He banned me and all I did was mention Tarkov. What a fucking fairy, blah, blah, blah. And he's going to go talk about it on Reddit. And then if I try to give somebody the benefit of the doubt and explain to them how ridiculous it makes them look and how I'd rather not talk about Tarkov, well, then I'm just feeding the trolls.
100%. Yeah.
And he's clearly just doing it to fucking, so it's almost like everybody is a clueless, entitled child. Not everybody,
of course.
Almighty, not everybody. If you're fucking cool right now, if you're not one of these people, I'm not talking about you. If you're one of the fucking real ones,
yeah,
we love you. If what I'm saying doesn't sound like you, you're cool.
Yeah.
If it does sound like you, well then.
But if you've ever hit a 4 question mark, then we're talking to you.
Yeah, I'll do 4 question marks if someone says like, if a streamer says the N-word live, I'd be like, WTF with fucking 4 question marks. That's one of the only things that I can't think of many. That's like break glass in case of emergency is the 4 question marks.
Oh,
now that I'm mauled and out of breath. Thanks for watching.
Dude, it's so good. I love it so much, bro. I love the podcast. Well, if you like the podcast, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the enjoying our. I had a few people. What did I say? I think at about this time I was like, yo, if you got here, type 69 in the comments, and a bunch of people were like, yo, 69, great episode. I was like, dude, you guys be listening to the end.
Dude, the comments were nuts.
Yeah,
there was like 9,000 69s.
Yeah. So thank you guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for like being a part of this. It's hilarious.
For listening to the Cream. I love how the Creamcast and 69 have now just become a thing.
Yeah.
Super looking forward to the Creamcast. I'm like, oh god, it's unironically the fucking.
Yep, it is, and I love it. We got some little inside jokes now. It feels good.
Feels a real podcast now.
Oh man, thank you guys for hanging. As usual, this will be live on all the platforms on Monday morning, and we'll see what happens in the Tarky space or any of the other poggers things in life. But thanks for hanging, and we'll definitely see y'all in the next one.
Peace.